Hi, and welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I'm Eric Knowles, but before we get started, a word from one of our supporters.
This is garbage, and you probably think all of it just goes to waste. But in Miami-Dade, we convert most of what you throw away into energy. In our city, we can turn about 90% of your everyday garbage into reusable fuel
Levels look good.
that creates clean electricity for our community. Enough energy to power 35,000 homes. Nothing goes to waste.
Welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. Yeah, I'm that excited guy on Mondays at 12 o'clock because we got some amazing people that we have conversations with, and this person is doing some amazing things. Margaret, how are you?
Great. I'm doing fantastic.
I'm just so excited to have you because you know, there are not many women in your line of business running the business that you do. And I think maybe the name might give it away a little bit, Mr. Wireman. So tell the folks what is with Mr. Wireman?
So, Mr. Werman is an electrical contractor. We're located in South Florida. And yes, I am a woman dominating in a man's world. And as the name say, Mr. Wireman, I thought I'd be cute about it and not name it Miss Wireman, only because of the field. And I wanted to be able to for people to have respect for me and not passing judgments before they meet or engage with me. So I stuck with the Mr. part.
Right. But it's great, obviously we've been knowing each other for a while, and just so much, I guess I would say, opportunities going on right now because of all the construction going on here in South Florida, not only commercially, but from a home perspective, many homes being built here in South Florida, from all the way from Florida City all the way up to when we talk about Miami-Dade County, but you're in Broward as well. And when we talk about Palm Beach, how did you get started?
I got started out of necessity.
Okay.
I was helping out my husband and then just saw the opportunities and recognizing that he was one individual, and that if I put my strength behind him, how much we can push the business forward. So I call that necessity, and that necessity has actually pivoted us into a fantastic place because now we are a woman-owned company, taking advantage of a lot of the opportunities
Right.
that you're talking about. And yes, the construction business is booming. And, in our business, we laugh a lot because my husband says, I'm the talker, I'm the face, go do your thing. And you go out there, you bring it back, and I'll take
Right.
care of it. And so that's kind of like the space that we work in. But right now, I would be silly if I didn't take advantage of what is being presented before me.
Right. And what you just said, the fact that you said your husband, you said you're the talker, and we've had some great conversations, and your personality definitely is that. And being an entrepreneur, as I said, you have to go out there and hunt. You have to go out there and get your food, and it doesn't just come to you. So that whole piece of out there soliciting business, going after the school board, going after the county business, whether it's in Dade, Broward, or Palm Beach, how challenging is that?
Okay, so let me say it this way. First and foremost, nothing comes to you. You have to go get it. One of the misconceptions that a lot of small minority woman-owned Black businesses thinks that because they carry those status, they feel like somebody's going to call them up and offer them something. That's not it. You have to hunt.
Right.
And so, for me, every day I'm looking for the next opportunity. I keep my ears to the ground to find out what is going on, but I don't want to find out when it's happening. I want to find out when it's being thought of.
Right.
So my engagement is that I'm always out engaging the chamber,
Absolutely.
just different organizations to find out, what do you know? And
Right.
what do you know that's coming down from the school board? What is your next year budget looks like? The airport, the counties, wherever. I'm always looking to see what is next.
Right.
And for me, one of the things that I would encourage any small businesses, stop thinking that because you're there, it's going to come. You have to hunt for it and find it, and then put yourself in the opportunity in order to get to a space where you can say, I'm doing well.
Right. And the thing that you're talking about, it may sound, I don't know, would say it sounds simply, easy to do. But what you're talking about, you can't wait till, and I'm trying to use an analogy, until the soup is on the stove. You got to be there when all the ingredients are being added and before even thinking up the recipe, as you're saying. So it's having those relationships and building those relationships out there amongst those developers, amongst those GCs that are talking to developers, to owners, and sitting in the room when the recipe is being developed. Am I saying that right?
You are absolutely saying that correct. Again, you don't want to know in the construction industry, you don't want to know about a project when somebody hands you the blueprint. You want to be a part of the creation of the blueprint. And so if you wait until that's the stage, now you have your competition is an ocean. I want to get in it when it's just a tiny little pond.
Right.
And so for me, I go out there, I go to the commissioners meeting, the planning meetings. I want to know who bought that piece of land and what is their intentions with the
Wow.
land, so that I can find out, okay, you're developing that and what are you putting on it? And is it something that is in my will? Well, is that a part of my niche that I'm looking for? And so, I'm always engaging myself in figuring out what's next. What's next?
You just said something. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone put it quite the way you just put it. When someone has purchased a piece of land, you are like there.
Right.
That's very astute to because I remember hearing a few months ago, Tibor Hollow being one of our largest one of the developers who's been around forever. He sold 2 acres on off of Brickell for $260 million. Sold it. So
Right.
somebody bought that, and obviously they're going to do something with it.
Absolutely.
So that's a very enlightening. Again, I've never heard anyone put it like that.
And see, and that's when you have to engage in planning and zoning. You got to see what is coming up.
Right.
Right now, the construction industry is like, you go past an intersection in the morning, you come back in the afternoon, it's being cleared.
Right.
You go back 2 days later, there's a building. So nothing is waiting. And if you're waiting for, oh, I'm gonna wait till I see a sign up there,
No, you're too late.
you're out the
The
game.
game, the game
The
is
game is
over.
over. We're in the fourth quarter.
Right.
So for me, it's the engaging in the chambers, finding out, meeting people, engaging. Hey, what are you doing next? What is the big contractors looking at? Because sometimes when you engage with them, they will tell you what you don't already know
Right.
in regards to what's coming up. When you hear of um, Overtown, Liberty City, all of that stuff, when from the moment that buzzword goes out,
Right.
start figuring out who's sitting at the table and start engaging those people. Where they go, that's where I want to show up.
Absolutely. And again, you talk about planning and zoning. In the last 5 years, we've seen so much go up in terms of commercial properties, residential properties, from Homestead through Palm Beach.
Correct.
There's just business booming. And like I said, that's the last 5 years, but there's stuff being cooked right now. So and again, it's the same conversation we're having. Tell me how you really go in there and dig that up.
Okay. So for me, it's one, I have to let people know that I exist.
Hmm.
That's the biggest piece, is letting people know you exist. Sometimes we assume that I've got a license, I've got a business, I've got this, and people know that you're there, and that's not always the case. So you have to always let people know that you exist. And then the next thing for me is, one of the things that I do is I choose who I work with.
Okay.
So once I have a list of general contractors that I'm saying these are my go-to people, and anybody else that engages me, I try it on a smaller scale so that we can build, that love
Right.
and get and understanding. So I'm always in there. Hey, what are we looking at? What are we thinking about? And once you get on board and build that relationship, they will call you. I have currently I'm working on a project where, it was just a phone call and saying, "Hey, this is a large project. It is much too much for you, but because of the status, the certifications that you carry, I'm going to introduce you to the large electrical contractor that will be taking on this project." So again, the whole dynamics comes down to relationship, relationship, relationship.
And you bring up something that where I was going to go next in terms of, you and I have talked about joint ventures
Correct.
on those large projects, and I know we were both in Washington and with the Congressional Black Caucus, and I met some large contractors, and we talked about, I told them that they need to talk to you because, again, it's about relationships.
Right.
So talk about joint ventures a little bit.
Um, you know, and I always try to take it back a little bit, because as small businesses, we are fearful in thinking that the big guys only want to take advantage of us. And that is not true. But you have to go in there correct.
Hmm.
Okay. And what I have found with my joint ventures is they actually want to help me. I did not realize how much I was always thinking, oh, I needed them. No, they need me.
Okay.
They actually need me.
Right.
But you have to let them know what you don't know.
Okay.
Once you let them know what you don't know, then they can help you and nurture you in a better way. But if you go in there thinking that I got this and I know it all, you're gonna mess up.
Right.
When I got my first joint venture, I said, listen, don't do that, don't do that, don't know how to do this, don't know it. The gentleman says to me, not a problem, do you want to learn? I was like, absolutely.
Hmm.
They took me and walked me through everything, all the process. So for me, I think a joint venture is absolutely wonderful. It takes away a lot of the outside risk for us, in helping us to learn. So I think it's great.
Right. So I say we're not necessarily post-pandemic, because we're still reeling from the pandemic in terms of costs for materials. Those things have hit us very hard. Um, how did you pivot during the pandemic? I know you were engaged with the chamber, the whole thing with us, like a lot of businesses, we had to make them go get PPP. You might have been one of those persons that I told you better go get
Get
that
the P-
PP.
I was.
'Cause I'm sitting there remembering that, and you're like, Eric, I don't know. And so, talk about going through the whole last couple of years.
Okay, so when the pandemic came on, we were doing okay, and then once the pandemic hit, okay, projects got put on hold, all that, everything was slowing down. While construction was considered essential
Right.
and was moving along, but now there was no material available. So one of the things that we did in our business was, and this again I learned from my joint venture, was I started issuing POs
Okay.
and locking down prices.
Okay. Okay.
So I said, I gave my supplier, this is my list, and here's your PO. Can't raise the price on me, can't do anything.
That's smart.
I learned that from the big
That's
guys.
smart.
That's what they did. So I did it too.
Right.
So that's one of the way in which I was able to survive. And then it just seemed like nobody was at work, so you weren't getting paid on time, in the county and all that good stuff. So Yes, I had to go reluctantly and get the PPP, to help me
Through the time,
through
hard
the
times.
time. And so, and again, getting things like that as small business, getting the back of your house in order. I
And,
can't say that enough.
and that's it's interesting how we're going through this conversation because that was the next place where I was going to go. How important is it to have the back of your house in order?
Super, super important. Shoe boxes does not work anymore. You have to be able to come with the proper information and it to lay it out so that someone can help you, even if it's not 100%, but
Right,
have something that makes sense,
right.
that it's not going to take a person, 3 years to put it together, but get the back of your house together. The chamber offers multiple classes, training, opportunities of where you can learn how to and individuals to assist. I say take advantage of that. There are multiple other organizations out there that does that, and I think that as small business, we really need to make sure that you're prepared. It is better to be prepared for an opportunity and don't have one than to have an opportunity and not be
Be-
prepared.
It's such good pearls of wisdom here. Um, One area where I want to go, and I know you have dealt with this throughout the years. We don't have a lot of time left, but this is the area I want to cover. Um, Doing business with the school board, doing business with the county or municipalities. A lot of times our businesses get discouraged because they may not win the bid.
Mm. Okay, so I'm gonna give away all my tips and tricks this morning. But first and foremost, you can't get discouraged. It's called the nature of doing business. You have to be in the game. I bid all day. I don't get it. I don't get everything that I get, but I don't stop
Right,
because the moment I stop, I lose.
right,
That will be the one. And then you're not married to anybody. I bid them all.
right,
I just had a guy from the school board that says to me, "Your name shows up on everything." I said, "Yes, because anybody that gets that, I want in."
right,
So we can't be so as small businesses, you can't be so straight and saying, "Well, I only bid with this." No, you have to cast your net and see what you catch, and that's basically how I do that. The school board also too has um, opportunities to show you how to put the county does as well. If you're a prime, they will show you where you fell short at.
right,
Go in and have somebody, your GCs, call them up and say, "Hey, I know I didn't win, but without telling me the other person's number, can you give me some idea where I fell in? Was I way too high, way too low? Was I in the pack?"
right,
And that helps.
right.
It helps a lot.
You know, we think that our time is going to be long, but our time has run right by. So, how can someone get in touch with you?
You can reach me at Margaret A at MrWireman.com or 954-792-4990.
And if you want to know more about the chamber, you can call us at 305-751-8648 or go to www.m-dcc.org. This has been the Miami-Dade Chamber Member Connection. Today, I stand before you, a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College and the 5th president of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to return to the college that prepared me to become a leader in our community, providing an education second to none. So I'm asking you to please tune in every Monday at 12 noon to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce's Member Connection as I interview members of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on our Facebook page at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce or our YouTube channel, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. To learn more about the Chamber, please go to m-dcc.org or call the Chamber at 305-751-8648.